Hey you guys, I have a really big update for you. A little bit of a story time. I'm just sat on the floor right now. The baby's napping behind me, just folding some cloth diapers. Because I'm just trying to do small things that I'm able to do right now. There is a reason that I have been quiet, haven't shown my face even though I started Vlogmas. I had emergency surgery and now I'm back. So I want to just pop on and talk to you guys about this whole experience because it was really crazy. I was in the hospital for a week and I had 2 emergency surgeries, one kind of minor one, and then one like major surgery. I was posting a little bit on Instagram for my like close friends, whatever that is, to kind of update a couple of people. There's just like people I know in person, people I talk to a lot, to let them know kind of what was going on. And then afterwards, when I finally got home from the hospital last weekend, I told Instagram what happened, kind of cliff notes in my Instagram stories. But I wanted to actually come here and talk to you guys about it. And that's for a few reasons. I think it's just too much to share. It's going to be too much to share even for like a YouTube video. There's so much to say. There's so much that happened that I just can't possibly share, and there's just some stuff I'm obviously not going to share, but I thought this was the best place to do it. I'm also not gonna lie, I'll get into this a little bit more later, but like this whole experience was I'm very grateful for it because it is what I needed. I needed it to happen. Like basically saved my life, but also it was quite a traumatic week for our family. It was not an easy experience. It was really tough. So I have a lot to work through, I think, kind of to process what happened to me and what happened to our family through that week. And it's kind of made me retract a little bit. I just kind of want to go into my cozy Christmas bubble and just be with my kids and kind of heal. And just really heal. So it's made me make the decision. I'm stepping away from Instagram for a little while just because I can't handle like even the well-meaning messages right now. I don't know what it is. I just can't. Anybody who missed my stories who are like, oh, what's happening? Like, what happened to you? And I just can't retell the story over and over. It's too much. And it's just like YouTube feels so much nicer because it feels like this quiet connection. I don't know how to explain it, but I sit here in my room calmly, I film a video, I talk to my camera, and then I go and edit that video, and then I post it, and then comments trickle in and I answer them when I can. With Instagram, you post something and immediately it's like so many comments, messages, like it's very like not attacky, but it's very like in your face. And YouTube is just softer. And so softer is what I need right now. So I'm gonna just hang out here until I feel like, if I ever feel like going back. That's dramatic, but I don't know. I've been thinking about taking a break from Instagram for a while, and I just like, this is just the opportunity to do it. That was a lot, and I just need to be in a more of a bubbled space. I need to be in a safer space, for lack of a better word. Not that that's like not, anyway. Okay, I'm rambling, so let's just carry on. So most of you know by now that I got diagnosed with gallbladder problems in my pregnancy with Zeph. And I was like 22 weeks pregnant or something, and I had 2 really horrible gallbladder attacks. If you've never experienced gallbladder pain, a lot of you are in the no gallbladder club, but if you've never experienced gallbladder pain, it's some of the worst pain you can feel. It's like kidney stones, gallbladder pain usually, and it's like some of the worst crap you can go through. It's brutal. Anyway, I've been dealing with attacks for 7 months, and that's just like when I knew about them. I realized when I got diagnosed that some episodes I was having and some symptoms I was having were actually gallbladder a lot, like far before I had those 2 attacks. The only reason I went to the hospital and got diagnosed was because I had 2 back-to-back, and I was pregnant, and I was worried that my like pancreas might have been in trouble. And bye, love you. If you're pregnant and you have pancreas issues, that's a problem. So Anyway, that's the long story short. And then since then, I have been in the hospital a few times for not gallbladder attacks. I dealt with my attacks at home, and like they were horrific, but whatever, you get through them. But then I would have issues after. And so because I was pregnant and then postpartum, thankfully I was taken really seriously in the hospital and given a lot of tests because I was having like kind of abnormal issues after my gallbladder attacks, and I was having kind of abnormal issues because of my gallbladder attacks. Like my gallbladder was triggering issues in my liver. A little bit, like just more than is normal for gallbladder attacks, if that makes sense. So I've been on the wait list for surgery since I had Zeph, since a little bit before then, I think. And in where I live, so we have free healthcare here in Canada, but it's very slow because of like our healthcare system is good in the sense that we don't pay, but it's very, very slow, and we have a lot of problems, and we don't have enough doctors, and blah, blah, blah. It's a mess. Canadians, you know, but I'm just saying that because a large amount of my following is not Canadian, so I'm trying to give you guys all the cliff notes. Thankfully, though, they took me a little bit more seriously, I think, than if I wouldn't have been pregnant and or postpartum. So I've been getting lots of tests, and especially since I've had such dramatic issues after having these gallbladder attacks, I've gotten a lot of additional testing, which is good because I had a really extensive paper trail. And so I was on a wait list for surgery, but surgery wait list for gallbladder in the Calgary area can take like 2 years. So that's really brutal. So a little while ago over the summer, I don't know, hold on. I don't need to go into all these extra details. I do this. I basically decided that I was going to go get my surgery somewhere else, in a more rural hospital, but that had really, really good surgeons. I've heard really good things. I've actually had experience in that hospital before. It is the hospital that I actually had Mackenzie in, the one and only hospital birth that I had. And I immediately got connected with a surgical appointment and got that whole process done like the day after I inquired to switch care from Calgary to this other hospital. So I was still on the wait list, and let's just backtrack to about, where are we? Like maybe the 18th or something. No. Let's go back a little further, probably like the 14th-ish that week. I had my consultation finally with my surgeon. And so I am like 5.5 months postpartum, had my consultation for my surgery, met my surgeon, went over everything with him. I should back up a little bit because a lot of people, like part of the reason I wasn't sharing a lot of this on Instagram, I stopped sharing a lot of stuff publicly on Instagram and was only sharing to close friends because I've had a lot of really like pretty serious attacks that landed me in hospital afterwards with complications. So I had a lot of people being like, you need to save your gallbladder, and me being like a herbalist and a holistic lady, I was also, when I first got diagnosed, I was like, absolutely, I'm not getting my gallbladder, you need your gallbladder. And I went down a huge path to try and heal naturally, and I got really, really serious about it. I tried so many things and they definitely helped. I think I would have been so much worse off if I wouldn't have gone that way. But then I learned something with my liver and stuff that was happening that just made it very obvious that my gallbladder needed to come out, and it was nothing I could save, and it was nothing that I did to wind up with gallbladder issues, which was a comfort in a way because it like made the decision for me. Anyway, that's kind of like all I want to share about that, but that's why I stopped sharing on Instagram, because I had it wasn't a huge amount of people, but I just didn't want that, like those people being like, oh my gosh, you're making the wrong choice, like just bugger off, let me deal with my health, thank you. No thanks. That is the downside to sharing things on the internet. But anyway, so I met with my surgeon finally, and that was all well and dandy, and it went great, and I really liked him. And then on last Saturday, I had an attack. Now, it was horrible timing because I was supposed to host a blessing way that evening, so I had an attack at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And my attacks usually last only an hour. They're super intense for the hour, and then I'm usually okay. This one was really bad. I had to call Cody from work, send all the kids downstairs, Mackenzie took the baby, and I literally phoned him. I'm gonna insert a picture of like what I looked like after the attack, because it's so, I took it because it was hilarious, because I was like, oh my gosh, that was quite the attack. You joke, you laugh so you don't cry, right? So I had this really, really bad attack to the point where I had to call Cody because I thought I was gonna faint. And I was like, if I pass out or if something happens to me, you need to be on the phone so that you can like call 911 or come home or whatever, so the kids aren't left downstairs. I don't want them to find me on the floor. So yeah, now that I say that out loud, it's like, oh, that was intense. So I have this attack. I decide I'm feeling okay. I go ahead and like host my ladies' night and this blessing way that night. And then halfway through the blessing way, I start feeling more pain, and it's not like an attack, but I'm like not really comfortable to sit through it, and I start pacing around and it gets really uncomfortable. And then basically everybody goes home and I'm like super uncomfortable. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm just like writhing around the room. Cody is worried about me, and I'm like, do I go to the hospital? Like, this isn't normal. I shouldn't still be in this much pain after an attack. I know from my previous hospital trips what they want me to be looking out for, so I don't want to go to the hospital in the middle of the night because I have to pack up the baby. We have to worry about Zag. I don't want to wake up Mackenzie and have her have to like kind of look out for him at night. So we kind of just hunker down. I fell asleep and we just kind of let it be until the morning. The next morning, like 5 a.m., I'm still in a really large amount of pain. And so finally I tell Cody, I was like, okay, we made it to 5 a.m. We just need to go into the hospital. So hopefully it won't be that busy. I go into the hospital. They do the whole thing. They give me fluids. I don't usually request pain medication or anything. I just get really, really, really horribly dehydrated, and then I'm breastfeeding, obviously. So they pump me up with fluids and they help me with that way. And then they decided to send me for an emergency ultrasound in the city. So Sunday morning we take off, we finish up at the ER in our town, and we head to the city to go to the hospital for an emergency ultrasound. And I'm told, okay, well, if it's too bad, then we'll keep you there and we'll do an emergency surgery. Otherwise, if they send you home, you'll be okay. Just to wait for whenever your surgery is. I was like, okay. So I go do this ultrasound, and the tech comes out after and is like, okay, you guys can go home. Like, we don't see anything like horrific, so just wait. Hopefully you get surgery soon. That's basically been every single ER trip. They help me as much as they can. They've been really, really good. And they want me to come in because I need a little bit of additional help, especially breastfeeding. And they just kind of went like, hopefully your surgery is soon. Hopefully we can get you in soon. It sucks. Like, I've seen the same doctors in the ER several times, and they were just like, why do you still have your gallbladder? Anyway, so I have this attack. We go, Sunday, this is Sunday when I have my ultrasound, and the doctor tells me, okay, if you have any vomiting or you turn yellow or anything like that, you need to go into a hospital that has a surgeon that can perform this, because like your body is just like at the end of this, like it's done. You can't do this very much more. Like, you can't come back here. Our local hospital is too rural. They don't do surgeries. It's basically acute care in an ER. That's all it is. And so they were like, you need to go to a hospital with a surgeon if it happens again. So I was like, okay. And they want me to do like checks on my skin and my eyes every couple hours to make sure that I'm not turning yellow. So we do that, and we just kind of go home, and the pain leaves and I'm fine. And I'm like, okay, cool, fine again. This is very normal for gallbladder stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry this is long-winded. I feel like I just haven't told anybody this whole story yet, and it's a lot to go through, and I'm just trying to set up a timeline for you guys. So we've been doing eye checks this whole time, and I'm not yellow or anything like that. It's fine. Cody goes to work Monday morning, but like 8:45, he leaves. He checks me one more time, and he's like, no, you don't look yellow to me. Or fine. I don't think I look yellow in the mirror or anything. We use like a white flashlight so we can see. And he goes off to work, and I'm just like feeling a little bit rough, but I'm okay. At like 10:30, I go to Nurse Zeph, and I notice that his skin is a completely different color to my skin. My skin is yellow and he's pink. And I was like, oh. And I get up and I look in the mirror, and I look like a Simpson. I'm completely yellow. My eyes are yellow. Within an hour and a half, I had turned completely yellow. So I was like, crap, that's really bad. I was still sore. I wasn't completely better. I just felt off. So I called Cody and I was like, hey, I turned yellow. I sent him a picture. He was like, holy shit. Okay, what's the plan? I decided to go to the Drumheller that my specific surgeon that I had just met at was at, because I knew I would just be better cared for there, and I knew the rural hospital would treat me better with the fact that I had a baby that needed to stay with me because I was breastfeeding. It was not negotiable for me. Like, it was not going to happen that I would be separated from my baby at any point, and I was very, very firm on advocating for myself for this. I was not going to give up breastfeeding. I was not going to let this affect my breastfeeding relationship for Zaffi. My children are always my highest priority, and so his food source was my biggest priority. So we went, and here's the kicker. We, overnight, Sunday to Monday, huge snowstorm. We got about 2 feet of snow in one night. Insane snowstorm. The roads are horrible, and we're going out to an even further rural hospital. So we get in the car at like 11 a.m. and we start out. We got Zeph. We set the kids up, we call emergency contacts, we get everybody ready. We're like, we don't know what we're walking into. I pack an emergency overnight bag just in case, because I'm freaking yellow and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I imagine they're gonna get me in for surgery like immediately. I don't know if I'm staying there. I don't know what's gonna happen. So I like bring his little sleep sack and his bear, and I pack an extra change of clothes for all of us, and we get in the car and we go, and it takes us 2 hours, just over 2 hours, to do a 45-minute drive because the roads were horrible. Anyway, Monday morning, or Monday, like I guess afternoon, midday, I get to the hospital, and again, it's quiet. It's a lovely little hospital. I get admitted right away. I show up and they're like, hey, why are you here? And I'm like, hey, I have gallbladder problems. I'm on the list for surgery. I'm yellow. And everybody's like, yes, you are. That's a problem. So I get in like right away. The doctor takes one look at me and is like, whoa, you are jaundice. They immediately call the surgeon. So the surgeon comes in and he's like, oh, hey, you couldn't wait for me just like to book your appointment. I was like, apparently not. I just, like you so much that here I am. So he essentially looks at me. They test my like levels and my blood and my liver and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, I have to admit you, I'm so sorry. You can't leave until we heal you because this is not good. So I was like, sure, my baby's coming with me though. And they were like, okay, we will make it work. And so thankfully I was really grateful that I was at that hospital because they were just very accommodating. I did have to advocate for myself a lot. But anyway, I get admitted to the hospital on Monday and they put me on, before I can get my gallbladder surgery, I need a smaller surgery before, because clearly the reason I'm turning yellow is because there is a stone that is stuck in one of my ducts, my bile ducts. So like your liver is like your liver, and then your gallbladder is kind of like the garage to your liver. It kind of sits like just under it, and it stores excess bile, and then you have all this tubing and these ducts that attach to your pancreas and your liver and your gallbladder, and it goes to your stomach and all that. And somewhere along the lines, the reason I was turning jaundice is because a stone was stuck in one of the ducts and blocking up the bile, and making my liver sick essentially. And so I started turning yellow. And there's only 2 hospitals in the entire province that do what I needed, called an ERCP, which is like a smaller surgery to remove. They can go in there and like suck out the stone. And so the closest, I get a call back that the closest they can get me in is Thursday. It's Monday. And then I will just stay admitted so they can monitor me, because obviously like my liver is not doing well, and they can like hydrate me and keep me healthy as possible. And then I can go on an emergency list to get that procedure sooner if there's an opening. So basically we had 3 days in the hospital of waiting. It was super, super hard because I kept having to be fasted, but then I kept having to advocate for myself, being like, you can't fast me that long because I'm breastfeeding. So it was like there were some miscommunications between the surgeon and the nursing staff. The nursing staff was fantastic, but there was just like, there were some points where I really had to be like, hey, like, you guys can't starve me. And then they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, give me food. But they actually did a fantastic job. So it was really, really tough though, because obviously I was separated from my kids and we've never been away from each other for that long. And Cody was driving almost 2 hours one way back and forth in horrible driving conditions because we just kept getting more snow. And then the kids were here at the house, and so that's a big reason I didn't share anything, because I didn't want anybody to know that I was not with my kids and whatever. So long story short, on Thursday I finally get in to this procedure in the city. So they allowed me to not ambulance there, they allowed Cody to drive me. So we get in the car and we head to the city to get this first surgery. And of course they're so backed up in the city because the city hospitals are so busy. We were technically late because of the roads. We left to give us, well, yeah, it takes 2 hours. We gave ourselves 2 hours to give us plenty of time to get to the other hospital. And I think it took us like 2 hours and 15 minutes or something. So we were a little bit late. But then when I got in there, they were like, oh, it's okay, you're not really late. We're super behind. Anyway, I go in. I've never been put under. I've never had a surgery. I've never been put under anesthetic or anything ever in my life. Super spooky for me. I advocated for myself really hard. I was like, listen, I need to breastfeed my baby the minute, like right before I go back, and then as soon as I can hold him again, I need to be able to breastfeed my baby again. And everybody was surprisingly like super, super good about it. I think it also helped that I never asked. Mostly I was just like, I will be breastfeeding. That's all. I just didn't ask. I just told them that, hey, this is my baby. He's here and he needs to be fed. So everybody was really, really good. I was actually really impressed with all the staff. Hi. And to the point they were like, well, we don't always like moms to breastfeed right after procedure. I was like, cool, if you need me to sign something, I will sign something. And that kind of just made them go, oh, no, it's okay if you're educated. I was like, yeah, I've done all the research. I talked to the anesthesiologist. Anyway, I have this procedure. They remove not one stone, but multiple stones from my ducts, which was like brutal. It was very strange because they don't fully put you under in this procedure. It's like there's 3 stages of anesthetic, and this was like the end of stage 2. So like you're just like very, very much sleeping, but you can kind of wake up a little bit. Like it's very weird. It was quick, thankfully. And they got everything out, and then anyway, I have this procedure. There are like way more stones stuck than they thought. Get them all out. I did have a little bit of an issue with my pancreas, so they do some extra stuff, and I am sent on my way back to the hospital that I was admitted at. And then the deal was that as soon as I get this procedure, I have to wait 24 hours to make sure I don't develop pancreatitis. If I don't develop pancreatitis, then I can get my surgery. The surgeon there was so amazing. Like my gallbladder surgeon, he advocated for me. He really deeply cared. He cared a lot about our situation. He cared a lot that I was postpartum and that I had this little baby. He hated that he had to admit me and I was there for so long. But he really wanted the best for me. And like, I really felt that with him, which I just couldn't ask for anything better in that situation. Like there's a lot that happened in that stay that just made it like, it was so freaking hard to be away from my kids. I was very sick, solo parenting a baby in the hospital alone, stuck to a bed because I had an IV in my arm. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt because like, you do not want to even see my arms. I've been out of hospital for 4 days now. And I am just bruised to the nines because I had so many pokes and failed IVs to the point where like right before my surgery, I was like my body was so done. All my veins were collapsing. It was brutal. So they were trying to place like a second IV in me before my surgery, and nobody could get it. I think 6 different people tried to get this into me, including like one of the doctors that was, I think, my anesthesiologist. Brutal. Anyway, so it was really hard, obviously. And then like my kids were all like worried about me. Cody brought them on Wednesday to come visit me, which was really, really nice. Halfway through the week, I just FaceTime them a lot, but I've like never been separated from Zeg. Like me and my big kids have never been away from each other for that long. It was really, really tough. And then like I'm so grateful that he was with me, but it was also really tough to be breastfeeding around the clock while I was that sick, solo parenting in the hospital. Cody would come and visit me every day for a little bit, but then he had to get back to the other kids, and it was tough. Like, we really learned who our village is and who we can really count on that week. Again, I feel like a lot to process about it, but anyway, nothing happened. I had on Friday, like, I was in a lot of pain, but it was like weird gallbladder stuff. It was just really acting up. And so he came in for me. My surgeon came in for me, like, after he was supposed to be done to do my surgery that evening on Friday. So, I waited all day Friday. I was in a lot of pain. It was pretty brutal. And then Cody came out so that he could take Zeph. I tried to pump so he would have a little bit of milk just in case, but I was so dehydrated despite all of the fluids and stuff I was being given, because I was just like quite sick, that I only got like 1 ounce. I was like, oh, so we had to make like an emergency plan, but it all went fine. And I was like, the surgery went great. It was a crazy experience to be put under and to like walk into an OR. I hope I never ever have to experience anything like that again. They took very good care of me, but it was still really weird and crazy and a surreal experience. But so I had my surgery and got my gallbladder removed, and I got home on Saturday. They wanted to observe me for 24 hours, or just at least, almost 24 hours. And Cody stayed with me the night of my surgery because I'm not allowed to lift anything. Technically, I'm not allowed to lift anything over 10 pounds for 6 weeks, but he was like, you can lift up to 15 pounds because of your baby. And he's like, how much does he weigh? And I was like, 16 pounds. And he was like, and I was like, So I'm not allowed to lift anything more than him right now. But surgery went really well and I recovered really well. I did really good under anesthetic, which I was a little bit worried about, but everything went good and they took really good care of me. And then I got to finally come home on Saturday. And now I'm at the point where like I'm really feeling really, really good. It's amazing. It's really hard to explain, but like I think I'm going to be acknowledging this a lot in the coming months, but I knew that I was unwell. I knew that that organ was sick and was not good, but I didn't realize how much pain I was actually in until now, because post-op it's like nothing. It's nothing on what I was dealing with every day. I'm feeling really, really amazing. I'm taking it very slow and following all the guidelines because I want long-term success. But it's like this weird thing of like, I knew before I had my surgery that like I was like, I wonder how much pain I've been in and how much I think is normal, that it's suddenly going to be gone and I'm going to be like, oh wow, that was all like related to my gallbladder problems. And even just a few days after surgery, I'm already experiencing that. It's like this really bizarre feeling, and I don't feel like it's missing, but I feel internally healthier. It's really strange to explain this experience unless you've been through it and you've had like a really bad gallbladder. Like my incisions are sore, like whatever. I got laparoscopy, so I've got like 4 incisions in my belly, just really tiny. They should heal up and be really not noticeable at all if there's anything left. Not that it matters because I have stretch marks anyway. The worst thing post-surgery was the next day my shoulder really hurt because they pump your abdomen with gas and it needs to release through your tissues, so it can really cause a lot of shoulder pains. But that's gone now, and I just like it's this weird feeling of like peace in my organs. I can't explain it, but like now that it's not there, I don't like, my gut feels healthy. It's really weird to explain. But I just feel good, and so I'm gonna be taking it really easy. My plan is to just sit and be in a little Christmas bubble and just be with my kids and make up for lost time and be with my family. don't even know why I feel emotional right now. Like, again, I have a lot to process that I just haven't processed yet, but it's just made me kind of like not that I was like on death's doorstep or anything like that. I don't want to be dramatic. I was very sick and I really needed this surgery, and it was like I didn't realize like how bad it was until like getting on the other side and learning all my numbers and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, I was really quite ill. Like I've always said, is I'm holistic as the day is long, but I've always said, in case of emergency, please use Western medicine. And I'm so grateful that that is an option, and that we have access to it, because this was an emergency. And I don't know, I just feel this like need to just kind of shrink into my bubble, and I don't know what is going to happen next and what I'm going to want to do next. It's just one of those experiences that I know has changed me. I just don't know how yet. Does that make sense? So anyway, Vlogmas will carry on. I'm just going to see what feels good for me and do what feels good. And I'm really just trying to honor myself and my healing. And I'm going to spend the next 6 weeks just in my little cozy bubble with my family, doing healing. I'm allowed to walk a lot, so that's good. So we're going to go do some Christmas things and maybe go do zoo lights or go see Santa in the next little bit. I'm taking it very easy this week. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I just wanted to update you guys and give you a little bit of a story time of my week. Craziest week ever. Just very, very grateful to... I don't want to cry. Very grateful for my health and to be here with all my babies. Very grateful for all of them. Yeah, I'm just feeling fragile, I guess, a little bit. So I'm just going to be very gentle with myself and very gentle with what I'm sharing and how I'm sharing. So I don't know what Vlogmas is going to look like this year, but I do want to show up here. So that's why I was gone for a little while, and we're going to see what we get up to going forward. So if you are watching and you were somebody who is praying for me and for our family, I just want to thank you. I don't want to cry. There were moments that were really lonely in the hospital and scary. And so knowing that you have a community of people praying for you and focused on your healing and your best outcome was very comforting. So thank you. Anyway, yeah, this video is long, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you for listening if you're still here with me. And thank you for being here on this journey. I know I haven't shared a lot of like the gallbladder stuff, but I have shared some videos here and there. So if this is totally news to you and you had no idea that I was going through this, then yeah, I didn't talk a ton about it. And then in the last couple months, I've really kept that private just because I didn't want outside influences. But now that we're on the other side, I feel okay to share, and it feels very good to be on the other side of things. So thank you. Thank you for listening to me chat for so long, and I will see you in the next one as we resume Vlogmas. Okay, baby's getting fussy, so I'll talk to you later.